A boss mom doesn't allow society to tell her that her goals no longer matter. She handles her business both inside and outside of the home. Welcome to the Boss Mom Movement Podcast with me, your host, Ashley White, where you'll hear me speak with millennial moms who have not allowed the title mom to stop them from achieving their goals. During this podcast series, we'll discuss how we balance it all and other mom-related topics. It's a space for all my bossy mamas, whether you're an entrepreneur, mama in corporate, or both. Being a boss mom isn't easy, but it's our lifestyle. So with that being said, all right, boss moms, let the movement begin. Welcome back to the Boss Mom Movement Podcast with your host, Ashley White. I'm super excited to be here with Miss Jasmine Chanelle Johnson, and she is an entrepreneur and the host of the 2Mogul podcast. So super excited to hear how she left her 9-to-5 and how she teaches other moms to do the same thing and replacing their income. So Jasmine, if you want to introduce yourself.
Yeah, thank you for having me. So my name is Jasmine Chanelle. I am a personal brand coach specifically for moms. So I focus on those moms who work in corporate America, who maybe have hit an income ceiling, and they are ready to focus on full-time entrepreneurship. So through my program, 2Mogul, we walk them through what it looks like to actually plan your corporate exit so you can have more time for your kids.
I love it. And I was telling Jasmine earlier before we started recording that I hope to get to that point one day. So I'm definitely inspired by your move and how you are wanting to help other moms do the same thing. I think that's super phenomenal, and just knowing your success in your business so far as a brand coach is really just inspiring. So hopefully I leave today just with other mothers inspired to put that 2-week notice in.
I love it.
But I wanted to let's backtrack a little bit. And so if you don't mind sharing what you did before you put your notice in and how you got to the point where you felt like it was time to do that.
Yeah, so I spent about 10 years in corporate America doing all kinds of roles, from event planning to marketing, branding, public relations, because that's what my educational background is in. So I have a degree in PR and marketing and then a master's in nonprofit management. And so as I was growing in my career, I was really excited about climbing a corporate ladder. Mm-hmm. And then once I had my first child, it felt like everything just halted. Like all of a sudden, I was getting passed over for promotions that they said I should get. I went back to school to get my master's that they told me would, earn me more money. And then once I got the master's, it was like, no, we have no other positions. And so I kind of just hit an income ceiling and a growth ceiling in corporate America. And I started thinking about, like, if I wanted to have more kids, I was engaged at the time to my now husband. I'm like, if I want to have more kids, I want to be a present wife. How can I do that with this job taking all my energy and time? And I really just couldn't see a way to be able to do that effectively. And so I kind of started working on a plan, like, okay, if you want to quit, girl, what are we doing to get to the place where you actually can quit? And so that's when I started working on my business in the nights, my nights and weekends.
Okay. Yeah. I was just talking to my boyfriend about like getting these degrees and working in corporate, and you feeling like it's going to take you places and it really doesn't. And then you watch other people that you work with get to those places that you want to be. And it's just like, is this even worth it? We were actually having a conversation because we were talking about getting doctorates, and I personally won't be, but I know other people want to, including my boyfriend, and for very good reasons. But I have worked in education. I work in corporate America now, and I'm just like, if I'm gonna get one, I want to get it because I want to, and not necessarily because it's supposed to take me up the ladder. And so I'm just like, times have changed. You can get a certification, and do courses and things like that. And that's kind of what my focus is. But I just thought it was so interesting that you brought that up, because we literally were just talking about that. Yeah. So because I talk to a lot of people who balance the entrepreneur life and the corporate life, including myself, just having my own conversations self to self. And like balancing that, like, when did you, what kind of plan maybe did you put together, and maybe how long did it take you to do that in order for you to be able to actually do that full time?
Yeah, so it started with realizing I was making more in the business than I was making at work. And so going to work was actually costing me money because I was having to turn down clients, turn down projects. It was costing me more money than it was earning me to go to work. That was the first thing. And so I actually first quit my job in 2013 to become a full-time entrepreneur and stay-at-home mom. And I had to go back to corporate America in 2015. And so when I went back in 2015, my approach was a lot different because I'm like, I'm not coming back here. Like I got the chance, I got to taste what freedom felt like as a full-time entrepreneur. But that first time I quit, I did not have a plan. And so that's part of the reason also that I teach people to have a plan in place so that you can do it in a way that's sustainable and doesn't put everything in jeopardy by quitting off of emotion. So the way I kind of work backwards to do that is the first thing I did was set a quit date. So I got clear around like how many more months do I want to be here? You know, the business is growing. I'm, working with all these amazing clients. People were booking me for speaking engagements. It was almost like a no-brainer to quit, but I, decided on a quit date. I put that quit date on a Post-it note on my desk at work. Nobody knew what the date October 1st, 2018 meant. But to me, every time I saw it, it's like, okay, are we taking action today to get closer to that quit date? Or are we getting further away? So that's the first thing I did, set a quit date. The second thing that I did was put routines in place that allowed me to work on my business and treat it like a business. And so one of the biggest mistakes I see people make who want to transition to full-time entrepreneurship, they assume once they have more time after they quit their job, that the business will be successful. I challenged myself to make the business successful before I quit my job with even less time. And so I would come home, work on my business in my nights, in my weekends, get it to a place where it was making sustainable, predictable income. And the third thing that I did was invest in coaching. And so if you want to accelerate your growth, especially when it comes to business, a lot of people are afraid to invest in coaching. And once you do your due diligence and find a coach who can actually, align with your values, who cares about the things that you care about, they have some results they can show you, it accelerates your growth. I invested in my first coach in April of 2018. I quit my job in September of 2018, just a few months later, after making that first investment.
I think that's another thing too, just to point out, like you invested in yourself as well to build your business. And I think we kind of get a little afraid. I just know, just talking with friends, we get afraid to put that money on the line and invest because we're afraid that we're not going to get the result that we want in order to see our business succeed. But I'm trying to get more into investing in myself because I like to do a lot of research, I YouTube everything. I'm not even gonna lie, but and so I try to, but sometimes you really do need to pay somebody to help you in that growth area. So just to see that was a short time that you were able to do that. So kudos to whoever your coach was. But that's amazing. So I know so I want to go to the emotional side of it because I think that is kind of what scares people is the unknown, right? If I quit today, am I going to be able to sustain the life that I'm already living? And I know that's one of my things. And I'm just look, I like to travel. I like to buy stuff when I want to. So I'm just okay, this is a huge risk. So did you ever have those emotions that were okay, Jasmine, I don't know, girl, you shouldn't do it?
It was scary, but I really had to look at what was I trading for it at that time. So I was literally seeing my son, if I got off work every day at 5, get to the daycare at 5:30, drive home, in traffic, get home by 6, make him dinner, and then put him to bed by 7. He was spending hours and hours every day at preschool with those people. He was spending more time awake with them than he was with me. Right. And so for me, it was that risk was scary, but it's if I know I can get 8 hours back of mom time, or I can get, this flexibility and freedom to go spend time with my grandma in the middle of the day, or, to go volunteer or do different things that I really valued and cared about at that time. It was worth the risk to figure it out. And the other thing that people don't realize about that fear around, okay, if you quit, you can always go back. I don't think people realize that. I mean, I know the media makes it seem like it's hard to find jobs, but most, people I know who are hardworking people, they quit job, they have no problem finding a job. So there's a job going to be available. You could always go back if it doesn't work out. But I think once you get a taste of that freedom, you don't know what you've been missing. You don't know how much of your life, has been passing you by because of spending so much time at work. And so for me, it was scary. But because I had a plan in place, I felt a lot more solid than that first time that I quit.
Gotcha. So being that you're married, so it's obviously, you have someone to share those financial responsibilities with. So I don't know what your client base looks like, but for moms that are maybe single working moms that are looking to go full-time entrepreneur, like, have you had any clients like that and that you've seen become successful in that? Because I know, I'm not married, but I do live with my son's father, so we do have to share things. But I know that that's something for me, just because we're not married. So, hey, it is still things that I have to take care of, myself on my end. And so that's something that kind of triggers me, where I'm just like, I don't know. Like, do you have clients like that? Like, what's kind of some advice for those moms that maybe are just doing it by themselves?
Yeah, so I have quite a few single mom clients who come through my program, and they have had success because they know they don't have that safety net. And so you show up a lot differently when it's all on you versus, I got my husband's salary just in case it doesn't work out. You're not really putting all on the line. So that makes it a lot different. Also, if you're a mom who lives in the home with your spouse or your boyfriend or your partner, if your contribution to the bills is still a relevant, contribution to the bills, is the same, level of pressure. And so what I've seen in my practice is that those moms actually show up a lot differently than the mom who has the salary or the partner to fall back on. This has to work for them. And so they're committed, they're consistent, they're really willing to work the process until it works. Now, what I do advise them on is I have them save a little more aggressively before they quit. I have them make sure, they have enough mortgage payments, for 6 months, versus another client I might recommend 3 months or 4 months. They make sure they're in a good place. A lot of them actually in my program pay off debt before they quit, so they feel even more free. So most of them, their cars are paid off before they quit their job, or they made significant additional payments towards their student loans or their their mortgage, so that if they come against a rough couple months in their business, it doesn't take them fully under financially.
Gotcha. I've heard that before too from another mom who she did the same thing. She's a little older, so she had more years in the business than out. But that was something that she said as well. It's just like that saving part, making sure like debts are paid and really putting a plan on the financial side so that you can maybe not continue living exactly how you were living with that salary check, but at least so that you're not taking like a huge hit or a huge step back into what you maybe were used to. So, hey, hats off to you ladies, because I am not there yet, but hopefully one day I will definitely get there. So just thinking about like the brand coach, I kind of want to talk about that in coaching business, because sometimes people think that coaching is kind of like therapy. In a sense. So talk to us about like the difference between the two, because that's something that I hear a lot.
Yeah, so I have a ton of clients who are therapists, and they are very clear that these are not the same thing. But what coaching does is really first helps you get an outside view or perspective of what's blocking you from success. And so whether you're working with a brand coach, a finance coach, a fitness coach, they are looking at you from an outside perspective to say, hey, these are the things in your life, these are the habits, these are the mindset or beliefs that are holding you back from this goal over here that you want to reach. And they help you step by step go through a plan to get to that goal. Whereas in therapy, and as somebody who's a 2-year participant in therapy, it is money well spent. And so if you got the extra income, I would say go for it. Go for the therapy too. But therapy, they're digging into more traumatic, triggering aspects of your life Whereas in branding, coaching in general, we're not digging that deep for the most part because we're not trained, to help you think through your trauma or different things like that. So I would say coaching is more of mentorship, but also giving you a guide or a blueprint or a solidified process to go through to get specific results related on what other obstacles are standing in your way.
Gotcha. Okay. And so basically it's just someone keeping you responsible and accountable with what you say you want to do and how you want to get there.
Right.
And I definitely, because I feel like I'm starting to see more coaches, come out. I don't want to say just come out of the woodworks, but in a sense, I guess it's one of those things like if you're not looking for it, you don't see it. But I'm just starting to see it a lot more. And it could be with the pandemic too. I feel like, everybody is looking for entrepreneurship opportunities and trying to see where they can utilize the skill set that they may already have. So I'm definitely, therapy, yes, I believe in it. You should do it. But I'm also like thinking the coaching too, I feel like depending on where you are in your life, because if you're not a risk taker like me, like I feel sometimes you need that extra push, and it sounds like a coach is definitely somebody in your corner, like you said, your fitness coach. I don't believe in trainers for me because I know how I am, and I'm like, hold on, I don't need all that pressure right now.
Right.
But for your brand, if you are trying to build that business, I can definitely see how a coach would be necessary for that. Yeah. So I'll probably be signing up for your services too, because like I said, I'm trying to definitely do what you did one day. So I know 2Mogul is your brand, it's your business. So I wanted to dig a little bit more and to have my listeners get more familiar, because again, this is for moms. My platform is for entrepreneur and working moms. So I may have some ladies that need your services or, want to move and get that income in a different way. So I wanted to give you the opportunity to really tell like what you do, what you offer, and how ladies can find you and get your services, girl.
Yeah, so 2Mogul is my self-paced course and community where I take moms through my signature process. And so this process was developed because of my struggles in corporate America, trying to figure out how to balance it all, raising the children, starting and running the business effectively, getting it up and running, while still, showing up as an employee and working well. And so the process that we teach inside 2Mogul focuses on three main aspects. Mindset first, because if you don't believe you can run a business while working and also be present with your kids, I can't help you. So we got to work on the mindset first. We figure out what habits, routines, beliefs are keeping you from success. And then we create a plan to kind of help you overcome those. Then we focus on messaging. Most people don't know how to market and brand their business. They don't know what to do. They just get online and start telling people, oh, I have this service. Oh, I have this business, but they don't know how to turn it into anything or package it so people can actually purchase it. So that's the second part we focus on, is like, okay, who are you serving? What content do you need to create? How do you effectively launch? How do you get people to care about your business and want to patronize your service? And then the third part of that framework that we focus on is methods. So what methods and systems do you need to have in place as a mom to make sure that this works with your life while you're still working your corporate job? And so because I know moms don't have a ton of time, this is a very, very simple process where they're able to work on their business like 2 to 3 hours a week. And some of them have become full-time entrepreneur, just giving their business 2 to 3 hours a week through this process. So that's the 2Mogul program. That's the one I'm most well known for. And then I also have an accelerated version of that for the mom who's like, Jasmine, I said in 2019 I wanted to quit my job and I still haven't quit it yet. How can you help me do this quicker? I have an 8-week accelerator program where I take all of that stuff that we cover in 2Mogul over the course of 3 months, and I cram it into 8 weeks to have you walk away with your full idea, your full program, your full marketing plan, and launch. And those ladies in that program have already just started launching, already started making their investment back, and we have only been working together 7 weeks. And so of that accelerator program, one has already quit to go full time, and I just introduced the accelerator in 2021. So it has been really successful for those ladies who've been procrastinating. They just need somebody to make them work on the business, give them the tools and templates to make it work, and they're able to hit the ground running from there.
Oh wow, I'm inspired. I don't know, it's just like one of those things. It's like reality hits. Like I've been saying this, now it's time to put forth the action and just get it done. Like, and that's one of the things. So I work from home, even though I'm a corporate mom, which I can honestly say I will never go back into the office because it does give me the flexibility to be here with my son. I mean, he's 6 months now, so I've been able to enjoy the 6 months with him being here and not have to worry about putting him in daycare because that's a no-go, especially right now.
Right.
And now I feel like this is kind of like my step into fully walking away because I'm like, man, where's remote work been all my life? Like,
right. And that's what we saw in 2020. That part of the reason my business exploded in 2020 is because so many moms were home and realized how much time they were missing with their kids. And they were like, okay, what do I want to do? And some of them had to go to work when schools were closed, or they had to send their kids to daycare in this pandemic, and they really genuinely did not want to, but they had to choose their career over motherhood at that point. And so that's why a lot of them, started working on their business at the height of the pandemic, to kind of give themselves that freedom and flexibility to choose.
Right. Yeah, I definitely think that the pandemic is definitely a huge factor into how many entrepreneurs we have and people just deciding I'm not going to stand for whatever is happening at my job any longer. And I think that also showed a lot of people the true colors of the companies that they were working for. I'm just like, man, some of these people just have no regard about anything other than the job, right?
Right.
So that is, so ladies, if you are teetering back and forth trying to figure out entrepreneurship or this 9-to-5, mom to mogul, Jasmine is telling you the gems just a little bit. You should be inspired now just by what she said, but I encourage all of my listeners to follow Mom to Mogul for certain. And we're going to have those in the show notes as well. And Jasmine will definitely let you all know how you can find her. But if you are feeling like this isn't for me anymore, whatever it is that you're doing, and you need to go full time into your own, here it is, ladies. Let's make it happen. I'm trying to see more momtrepreneurs now.
Right.
Mompreneurs. Same thing. I'm trying to see more of them, and including myself. So I'm I'm going to be right along with you ladies taking this journey, because when you have something of your own, it definitely means something more. And it's right now I'm having to juggle it all, which is definitely daunting. And you already know how that was for you, sleepless nights.
Yeah.
I mean, you already have a kid, so what is sleep, right? But on top of that, trying to juggle your own business and somebody else's, essentially. So now you feel like you can, let's talk about entrepreneurship, because I feel like a lot of people feel like it's easy. So let's dive into that. How has, how long has it been? So you said you left in 2019, right?
2018.
18, right. Yeah. So it's 2022.
Mm-hmm.
How has your journey been as an entrepreneur, full-time mom?
Yeah, it has been crazy. And I've added two kids in the last 2 years in the middle of this pandemic. So I have 2 under 2. Well, she's about to turn 3. And then I have an 8-year-old. So I'm homeschooling that one. And so it has been a crazy journey. But when I tell you, I know in my soul and in my bones, I am doing the correct thing that God has asked me to do every single day. And so even when it's hard, even if there are months where the business doesn't grow, I don't panic, because I feel like I am on my path. But I will say the hardest thing for most people in those first year or two of entrepreneurship is you're building something that you've never seen before a lot of times. So if you don't have entrepreneurs in your family, in your friend group or anything like that, that is hard. And then also it's only you against you. And so on those days where you want to sleep in, ain't no job calling you to say, hey, where you at for your shift? Right. There's nobody coming to assign you when you work. You have to get up every single day and make an intentional decision. I'm going to work on my business. I'm going to go find customers. I'm going to go live. I'm going to do all of these busy things. And a lot of people don't realize how much self-discipline that requires to do that. Most people just see the freedom and think that, the business just runs itself. No, there's a lot of stuff you got to do to make active income before you make passive income. So a lot of people think entrepreneurs are just going to sleep and we making money in our sleep. No, that took 2 or 3 years of groundwork of making money while awake before you're making money in your sleep. So I think that's something that, especially now in this social media age, that people are skipping, and they think like, oh, I'm gonna just go straight to passive. Anytime anybody comes to me, they're like, I want to make passive income. I'm like, I'm not the coach for you, because I'm gonna get you real all together to make this active income, and we're gonna be super active for this first year or two, and then you can chill. And so the first 2 years of my business, 2018, 2019, grind mode, like all the time. 2020, I took 3 months off and made more money than I ever made in my entire life. I doubled what I was making in corporate America. I was present with my kids. I gave birth to my daughter. I had a full, maternity leave. Even when I came back and only offered one service. I didn't sell a whole bunch of stuff. I didn't have to work with a lot of clients and still hit all my income goals. But that came from a foundation of years of grinding, not going to baby showers, not going to people's birthday parties, working on my business day in, day out, head down, even when people told me it wouldn't work, even when they told me it was crazy. 2 years of that to then arrive to now, 2022, dang, the year's going by fast. 2022, I work less than 10 hours a week and make double what I was making in corporate America, and I'm homeschooling my kids, and it's crazy.
Oh my goodness. Well, first of all, kudos to you for the homeschool, because listen, I'm just like, I'm so happy he is a baby. I used to work for a company that they taught, the teachers were online, and so I would see it on the back end of it, and I'm just like, first of all, teaching itself is right. But I think a lot of parents are seeing how much teachers go through now that we're in the pandemic, because at one point you were having to homeschool. Right. And so, hats off, because you are still doing that, and you don't have to with 2 little ones. Like, being a mom, superhero, seriously. But no, I think that is definitely like the passive versus active income. I think, like, even for me, when I think about it, I probably would be that person to say I want that passive income too, because I want to do other things, right? I just want to be able to close my eyes and wake up to 6 figures, but definitely takes work. And that's one thing I always say, I'm like, being an entrepreneur isn't for everyone, because everyone is not meant to be the boss and make sure that they're, well, first of all, you're the employee of your own business as soon as it starts, just because it takes so much. You're getting it up off the ground to then be able to hire other people at some point if your business even requires. But it's like, man, it's not for everybody. And that was one thing that I kind of like struggled with, even with my travel, because I'm a travel agent too. I have my own business there, and then the boss mom, and I'm just like, okay, before I even did any of that, it's like, do you really want to do this? Like, because at the end of the day, if you don't do anything, this business does nothing. Right. So I think even having a coach to even remind you about that is just like affirming, like, hey, you have to do the work. It doesn't come easy, like, at all. So that, again, people, is another reason why coaching, depending on what your mindset is, right? When you go into it. So I'm curious, like, as far as the clients that you have, like, what kind of industries do these ladies have businesses in?
Yeah, so corporately, they come from all areas of corporate America. When I first started this, I'm like, oh, surely not a doctor and attorney would want to start a side hustle. But really, most doctors and attorneys are trading their time for money. So they only get paid based on the number of patients they go in to see, versus if they create a group coaching program, you can make a quick $5,000, $6,000, $10,000 and only have to talk once, for that hour to teach whatever your group coaching program. So I have doctors, attorneys, therapists, realtors, like teachers. I have all gamuts of corporate work, that they're doing. And then the businesses that they're starting, I specifically focus on service-based coaching businesses. So how do we take your life experience and turn it into a coaching program that you can coach other people on? And so some of them are coaching people on things as simple as Instagram. Like, I have an Instagram coach in my program. She does amazing. She only talks about reels because that's something that people want to know. I have financial coaches. I have ladies who focus on healing. So so they are therapists in their corporate work. But again, there's only so many clients they can serve as a private practice therapist. Sometimes people only can use their insurance for therapy, and that limits the amount of money they can make. Whereas they can go over here and be a mindset coach and have limitless earning potential. So they work on mindset. I have some who are fitness trainers. One of my biggest success story, and she still works in her 9-to-5. She is a teacher out of South Carolina. Mm-hmm. She still teaches because she genuinely loves being in the classroom. Mm-hmm. But she crossed the 6-figure mark last year selling a course to teach other teachers how to sell their Google Slides on Teachers Pay Teachers. She made over $50,000 last year in the height of the pandemic selling Google Slides. What she does is she takes generic Google Slide PowerPoint and she makes it relevant to teenagers. So she puts TikTok trends on these Google Slides. She puts trending songs. She puts, Netflix movies, all the stuff we're talking about in pop culture, and turns it into a history lesson, an English lesson, or things like that for other teachers. Because she knows how to connect with this generation that all these other teachers are like, we don't understand these kids. We don't know how to get them to pay attention to these virtual lessons. She made the bulk of her money doing that last year. And so when I say the possibilities are endless on what you can create a business on, it really just comes down to figuring out what you're good at and monetizing that into something that people want to buy.
Wow. See, I was...
Google Slides. When I tell you, I was like, what are you selling? What am I helping you sell? Right. I didn't even know what I was helping her sell. I just was giving her, the strategy.
So she came up with the idea.
She came up with what she wanted to sell. And I'm like, okay, well, here's how I would market it. And she took off and marketed it and sold it.
That's amazing. But you know what, I can see that because because I did work in that space and I was recruiting teachers. And you can, the generation has changed so much. So you definitely have to keep up with the times, right? So that your students will be focused, because other than that, they'll be on the phone. Right. So that is such a smart idea. So when your clients come to you, do they generally know what it is that they want to sell, or are you like helping them get to that place?
Yeah, so typically they don't know what they want to sell. They know they want to impact people in a certain way, and they know they want more of their time back. And so what I typically do is like, okay, what are all the things that you're good at? What are the things that people are coming to you for advice on? And so when she said the Google Slide thing, I was like, that's interesting. And I'm like, so how can we market this? What makes this different than what other teachers are doing? Once we figure that out, that's what we turn into her marketing plan. And then, they learn the process of launching from there. So most people come with a general sense of, I want to impact people. I want to change lives. I have all these ideas. I help them figure out which of these ideas is your moneymaker. And then how do we package that idea into a program, a course, or a service that you can provide to people.
Gotcha. Makes sense. Okay. So ladies, service-based, like now if you want to sell, you're selling stuff, but going to any other business. Okay, that's definitely good to know. Yeah. Okay, well, what tips would you like to leave with ladies who are thinking of leaving their 9-to-5 and going full-time entrepreneur life so that they can be more present with their kids and their family in general?
Yeah, the number one thing I would say is like, if that is what you want to do, get clear on what that looks like. So what is the vision you have for your life? What would you like to wear? Where would you like to shop? What would you like your vacations to look like? Get really detailed, and then work backwards from there. How do you need to show up now to get that? And so long before I'm doing like I am now, we don't wake up with an alarm clock. We wake up when we want to, we play outside, we do our crafts, we do our thing, loosey-goosey around here with my kids for the most part. And then I serve clients 2 days a week. That was in my vision in 2018. That's what I wrote down. I want to serve clients who want to work with me as much as I want to work with them. I want to help women free themselves from corporate America. At that time, I didn't know I would help 10 women walk away from corporate America in 1 year. At that time, I didn't know I would help them, get this money back that they were, saving and be able to pay off debt and do all that. I didn't know that. I just knew I wanted to help people. And so write your vision and make it clear of, what do you want? so that you can begin taking those steps to get there. And then the second thing I would add, specifically as a mom, you have to get in the habit of having routines. Like, it feels like a lot of work. It feels like having a cleaning routine is too much. Having a routine for the kids is too much. Having a morning routine for you is too much. It feels like too much, but really that is what sets you up to work daily on your business. And so the difference a lot of my clients see as a result of working with me is that they know how to use 30 minutes of time. Like, if they have a lunch break and they don't have anything else to do, they know what they can use that 30-minute pocket of time to do to move their business forward, versus filling their day with a lot of things that is just busy work in the business and doesn't get them results.
Right. Gotcha. Mentally noting these things as well. Well, I appreciate you so much for coming on and speaking to the listeners regarding your business. So definitely let the ladies know how they can find you and how they can sign up for your services if they are looking to get a coach as well.
Yeah, so I spend most of my time over on Instagram. You can find me there at _Jasmine Chanelle. And then you can find more details about my services on Instagram and also at www.jasminechanelle.com.
All right, ladies, well, you have the information. So I hope we are encouraging you ladies to become moguls of your own. And I appreciate you for listening. This is season 3, episode 4 with Miss Jasmine Chanelle. And as I always say, stay motivated and stay bossy. And I will see you ladies next time. Hey ladies, if you enjoyed today's episode, do me a favor and leave a 5-star rating and review. You can find the Boss Mom Movement streaming on Apple and Google Podcasts, Amazon Music, Spotify, and YouTube. Want to keep up with the movement? Visit my website at thebossmommovement.com and subscribe. Thanks for the support, and I'll see you next time.